Hi everyone, so I wanted to show you, I've got my St. Joseph's Lily oil here. I put it by St. Joseph because I'm using it now, and I use carrot oil as the base for this. It's got the St. Joseph Lily, and I had also put in here grapeseed oil and the lavender leaf. So I'm not, in this one I didn't just use the St. Joseph Lily, but I made this a long time ago. You can see it's almost finished. So I'm leaving it there, and what I'm doing here, I put my oil in here, my olive oil. So I'm going to leave that there for a week, and once it's warm by the sun, I'm not putting anything in there because I didn't buy St. Joseph lilies this year, and the lavender plants are too expensive this year. The big ones are like $20, and since I'm not working, I don't want to buy one. So, but I'll leave that there to warm up, and then after I've warmed it for a week, then I'll top it up into that bottle that I'm using, and I keep it in the fridge, but for the week I'm keeping it near my St. Joseph statue. And also the scapular here, when all of these problems started, I was listening to Father Ripperger's talks almost every week. I would tune into one of his talks, and he talks about how this period that we're living in, it's a chastisement, and the weather changing and all this, just like I'm saying, some of these priests are confirming it. So this is a scapular that I had gotten, this purple scapular, and it's to unite my suffering, whatever suffering I go through, with the suffering that Jesus had on the cross. And it's also a sacramental, it's a protection for this persecution of Christians that we are going through. So if you want, you can get them. I think they're available through like Catholic websites. Even I think at one point Amazon was selling them. Some of the religious organizations do sell things on Amazon. So that's what I just wanted to share that. And you know, it's like somebody's got a vendetta against our family. That's what I think. Because it doesn't make sense that after I didn't have any of problems like this when I was in England or when I was in South Africa. It's like someone's got a vendetta against me. Because every time I get a job, I do well, I'm doing everything right, everything good, and then I get let go. And then people will say, oh, you didn't do anything, it was us. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If you know it's you, and you know that you are the problem, or you know that your company is the problem, or your systems are not working, why do you keep letting me go? Why do you keep doing it to me so that my health suffers, so that I land up losing everything, so that I land up with no money in my bank account? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Surely you should get help for your problems, your mental health problems, or your company system problems, or whatever it is. Because it's really not fair to me. It really isn't. Anyway, all I can say is that it boggles my mind. And in this period that we're going through now, I'm very happy for Zimbabwe. They're coming up. Kirsty Coventry was appointed. She's the first woman to be appointed to lead the Olympics committee from Zimbabwe. Now they're holding the COP15, which is for the protection of the wetlands. If that COP15 had been held anywhere else, if it had been held in Canada or in America or anywhere else, all the governments would be tweeting about it, talking about it. saying how good it is, but it's being held in Zimbabwe, so there's not that much coverage. But that's why I watch what's happening in Africa, and then I find the links on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook, and I share them so that my friends can follow it. Because I've got very good friends. My friends are very, very good. Even when I went home, Sunil was happy to see me, Sunil Harry. Prakash Naga and his wife, they were so happy that I came home. They came to see me at Mrs. Harry's place. I've got very good friends with very good hearts. So I know that if I share that, they will also start following, and they'll also start helping from there. Deepak Keshav and his wife, there's even too many to name. I've got very, very good friends. I'm very lucky in that way, that they're good people. They're people who help lift others out of poverty. They keep their faith, and because of me, they might not go to the Christian church, but they believe in Jesus. So I'm very fortunate that way. And I would like to ask you to keep praying for me, because it really doesn't make sense to me what's happening to my life. At this point, I mean, even if people didn't want to help me to buy my place, okay, I did that. Then now I'm at a point where I should be able to get into a good paying job, buy my own home. They're telling me go and live in a room. Why would I want to go and live in a room in somebody's house at this point in my life? When I've got all my education, all my skills, all my credentials, even my mother's telling me that you should go and get a room in somebody's house. I said, oh, why would I want to go and get a room in somebody's house? I want to get a good paid job. I want to own my property. I want to be the head and not the tail. I want to be above and not beneath. Why would I want to go and rent a room and live in somebody else's house where they can kick me out at any time? Or they can tell me, oh, my brother's coming or my sister's coming, so you can't stay here, you have to move. Yeah, I don't know where you're going to go, but you'll have to pack up and move. Why would I do that? I told my mother, I said, I'm not prepared to live with a man. Even when I was living at Lakeshore, we were two women that were sharing that floor on the top. Then when that lady moved out, an Indian guy moved in. So I didn't have a choice, but I had my own unit. I had a shower, I had a toilet that was in my unit, and I had my bed in there that they provided, and I could lock the door. There were Polish people that rented that room to me. So when you first come to Canada, yes, you want to rent a room in a house, you want to rent from somebody, but when you've been here over 20 years, you don't want to carry on renting. You don't want to carry on throwing your money away on rent. You want to own. You want to have that ownership. You want to say, I own this property. This is mine. And I'm going to live in this. This is what for me now. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So I'm asking all my friends to pray for me. And if you're a person of faith, you can't say that you don't know that this is a chastisement. We all know that it's a chastisement. I mean, the temperature is going up like this to 32 degrees, 35 degrees. If you're born in Africa, I think you cope much better with these temperatures compared to if you're born here, because we're used to the temperatures. But I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense what people are saying to me, what they're telling me, the things that they're telling me, like go rent a room in a house, that, oh, you can't come up, you can't make good decisions. I mean, nothing makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me. If somebody can explain it to me, please explain it to me, because it doesn't make sense to me. And also in our religion, in the Christian religion, we don't sleep with our uncles and our aunts. If I go and stay with my Aunt Teresa, I'm just going to stay with her. I'm just going as her niece to spend some time with her or to spend time with my uncles. There's no kind of relationship that's sexual or anything like that. And people shouldn't even mention things like that because it's a sin. In our church, it's a sin. You can't say things like that. And it's not a joke. It's not a joke for me. Because the things that your elders speak over you, those things are either blessings or curses. I want to have my own property. I want to come up in life. I want to have my own car. I want to own my property. I want to travel. I mean, it doesn't make sense what people are saying to me. Now you'll have to go and rent a room in a house. Why? Or you should go into receivership. Why? Why can't I get a good job and come up and save money and pay down my debt? Why should I look at going into receivership? Why? It doesn't make sense to me, especially for somebody like me who's helped others, who's been there for others, who's guided others in going the right way, tried to help people, even my friends, to keep good values. And people can't tell me, oh, you were too hard on Vina, you were too hard on Natasha. No, I wasn't. If you were a good friend like me, you would want your friends to keep to the right path. You'd want them to keep to the right way. It doesn't make sense what's happening to me. It doesn't. And even all these Jesuits, all the Jesuit priests, the sisters, everybody that I know, do you think they want to see me going and living on welfare, or going and living in a tent, or going and renting a room in a house after all the work I've put in, after all the effort I've put in? I don't think so. It's not fair to me, and it's not right, and it's evil. It's evil after all these years to put in so much work and to not see my life change, not see it flourish, not to be able to go out sometimes and enjoy whatever life has to offer that's available. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And even when they denied me that application for my mortgage to be renewed, the frontline people fought. They fought and fought and fought and tried to get that renewal for me. They said no. So, if it was in America, they would have said renew it, because that's their main home. That's the home they're living in. It's not like I had 2 properties or 3 properties. They would have said renew it. But here, there was no mercy shown. Nothing. So I don't get it. I don't get why this is happening, what is happening to me. And I also don't get why people, if you've had a loyal employee, somebody that's worked for you 4 years, 5 years, why you would bring them in again at minimum wage. Why you wouldn't bring them in at salaries over 50,000, pay them well, reward them, give them that pension, give them those benefits. I don't get it. But you want me to mentor others, you want others to sit with me, you want me to have them shadow me, you want me to train them, and then you want to shaft me and put me back into minimum wage. And then tell me that you value me and you appreciate me. No, you don't. You don't. Because if you did, you would contact whoever you could to help me to get into a job that pays me well, and that's going to give me the benefits, give me the training, give me the support. But you don't. So you can't tell me that you value me. Even telling me to go and rent a room in a house, it's not fair to me. What you should be doing is telling people how good I am, how hard I worked. You should be supporting my videos that I'm putting on Facebook, not telling me not to put them there. Not telling me, oh, you shouldn't put your Facebook up, you shouldn't use YouTube. That's how people reach others. Why don't you tell the church? Why don't you tell Pope Leo and the priests and the nuns and everyone, don't put videos. Don't use Facebook, don't use X, don't use YouTube. I just don't understand why you have to use it. Why don't you do it to them? They also spiritual directors. They also have Maxwell training, some of them. Our last Pope had, John Maxwell went to train people on the Maxwell leadership principles at the Vatican. Why don't you tell them? Why don't you write letters to them, to the Church, to the Vatican, to the Sisters of St. Joseph, the Sisters of Mercy, all the Trinitarians, the Marians, the Basilians? Why don't you contact all of them and say, we don't support you using these communication tools? We really don't understand why you feel that you have to use these communication tools to reach people, to update your friends, to let people know about the gospel. We just don't understand. I mean, what is the purpose? How could you do this to us? You should do that. See what the church tells you. See what response they give you. Or even better yet, pick up the documents of Vatican II, the conciliar documents of Vatican II. Read them. Read about the messages about communication and the church in the world. And then take those documents and send it to the Pope and say, Pope Leo, we do not agree with any of this. We think the church should live in the dark ages, where people cannot take leadership principles out to the public, where they cannot share them, they cannot give examples of their life, of what's happened to them. They cannot use the gospel in that way. And furthermore, you should teach people to doubt the gospels. You should teach them to say, you know, there's no proof that Jesus rose from the dead. There's no proof of the transubstantiation. No, I really don't see the point of even having the Mass. You should do that. Because that's how people are treating me. Not only in the secular world, in the corporations, but even within the extended family. That's why I'm saying what people are doing to me is evil. It's not right. It's not right. They're not even ashamed. They don't even cry. They don't even feel any remorse for what they've done to me. Nothing. Whoever started this vendetta against me, leave me alone. Go and live your lives and let me come up in life. Because I have got very good friends in England, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe. I've also got people who are like family to me and who are family to me. So it doesn't hurt me when my Aunt Teresa tells me that we are not family anymore. Raquel Rodriguez is her family. That's perfectly fine. I didn't do anything to her. I've given her a lot of love, a lot of support. I've made trips to visit her. I've done everything good. So if she feels that way, she feels that way. It's good. I'm happy for her, if that's what she wants. I'm telling you, what is happening to me is evil. And I'm praying that it will be broken. And I'll get that good paid job and I'll be able to come up. But I've also got bills to pay. I've got expenses to meet. I've got training and courses to do. When HRPA started that introduction to project management, I was one of the first people they asked to test it. So I enrolled, I paid for it and I enrolled, and they sent me a letter to say it was so successful that they're going to implement it. People are asking about it and they want it because there's a popular demand for it. So without people like me, other HR professionals wouldn't have had that course and many other courses. They wouldn't be able to enroll in HRPA. They wouldn't be able to get their designations. I made things easier for others and better for others. And instead of people helping me, they're making it harder for me. It's not fair. And it's not right. They need to change their hearts and they need to examine their hearts and their conscience. Every filthy word that comes out saying, oh, what about nieces and uncles that are attracted to their nieces? That's filth. It has to stop. Not only because I'm a spiritual director, but because those are not the teachings of our church. We do not accept it. Small as we were when they built that mosque in Kwekwe, we protested it. And it wasn't just us, our grandparents, everybody, no one wanted that mosque there. The first thing you see when you drive into Kwekwe is that mosque. Okay, yeah, it's nice inside, it's pretty, it's beautiful. But I mean, really? It boggles my mind how anybody could cooperate with having me taken to the police station, forced to get a psychiatric assessment, when everybody knew what was happening. It boggles my mind. I'm connected to David Coulthard, I'm connected to some of these presidents, prime ministers. I hope they help me to get into a good paid job. I really hope they do. Because what's happening to me and to my life, it's evil. It's evil.